Hi, everyone. I'm Jeff Panic with Balanced Wealth Partners. Today, we're talking about something that keeps many pre and post retirees awake at night, their healthcare costs in retirement. Now, I know what you're thinking. Great, another financial advisor about to terrify me with scary numbers. But stick with me because we're going to break this down in a way that won't make you want to hide under your favorite blanket. How much is healthcare going to cost in retirement? Let's start with the elephant in the room, or should I say the hospital bill in the mailbox. According to Fidelity's latest research, if you're turning 65 this year, you can expect to spend about $172,500 on healthcare throughout your retirement. Now, before you start Googling cheapest places to live as a hermit, let me put this in perspective. That's roughly $8,600 per year, or about $715 per month. Still significant, but when you break it down, it's not quite as scary as one giant number, right? Here's the thing though, this assumes you live an average lifespan and have average health. But let's be honest, when was the last time any of us were truly average? The real challenge is that healthcare costs have been growing faster than regular inflation. Since 2002, Fidelity's estimate has more than doubled from 80,000. And here's what really keeps me up at night as your financial advisor. About 17% of people have done absolutely nothing to plan for these costs. That's like planning a cross country road trip and forgetting to check if your car has gas. Now let's talk about Medicare, the system that's supposed to save the day. Think of Medicare like a really good friend who always has your back, but occasionally forgets their wallet when it's time to pay. You've got Medicare Part A, that's hospitalization insurance, and for most people, it's free. Part B covers doctor's visits and outpatient care, but you'll pay about $185 per month. In 2025, going up to an estimated 206 in 2026. Part D covers prescription drugs, and here's where it gets interesting. There's something called the donut hole in Medicare Part D, and no, it's not nearly as delicious as it sounds. It's a coverage gap where you temporarily pay more for prescriptions. It's like ordering a dozen donuts and finding out three of them cost extra just because they're in the middle of the box. But here's what Medicare doesn't cover, and this is crucial: most dental, vision care, hearing aids, and long term care. It's like buying a car that comes with everything except the wheels and steering wheel. Technically functional, but you're going to have some challenges. So, how do we fill these gaps? Well, you have got a few options, and I like to think of them as your healthcare retirement toolkit. First up, Medigap insurance, also called Medicare supplement insurance. This is private insurance that helps pay for things Medicare doesn't cover. Plans range from basic coverage to comprehensive, and yes, they cost extra, typically around $270 per month on average. Think of it as insurance for your insurance. Second, Medicare Advantage plans. These are private alternatives to traditional Medicare that often include extras like dental and vision. They sound great, but here's the catch: you might have a smaller network of doctors, and some folks find themselves saying prior authorization more often than good morning to their spouse. Third, and this is my favorite, health savings accounts or HSAs. If you're still working and have a high deductible health plan, max out that HSA contribution. It's like a retirement account that moonlights as a healthcare fund. Triple tax advantage, tax deductible going in, grows tax free, and comes out tax free for medical expenses if you meet the qualifications. For 2025, you can contribute 4,300 if you're single, 8,550 for families, plus an extra 1,000 if you're 55 or older. Now let's talk about the topic that makes everyone suddenly very interested in their shoelaces, and that's long-term care. Statistics show that about 70% of people turning 65 will need some form of long term care. The average cost of a nursing home is pushing $10,000 per month, and an assisted living facility runs about 6 to 7,000 monthly. Here's the thing: Medicare doesn't cover long term custodial care, neither does regular health insurance. This is where long term care insurance comes in, but it's not cheap and not everyone qualifies. The sweet spot for buying it is usually in your 50s or early 60s when you're still healthy. But here's a strategy many people miss: your HSA can be used for long term care insurance premiums with limits based on your age. Understanding your risk factors and options should be part of your pre-retirement plan. All right, let's get practical. Here are a few top strategies for managing healthcare costs in retirement, and I promise they're simpler than assembling IKEA furniture. Strategy one, start planning now, not later. Healthcare inflation waits for no one. If you're in your 40s or 50s, every year you delay planning is like compound interest working against you instead of for you. Strategy two, stay healthy. I know revolutionary advice from a financial advisor, right? But seriously, preventive care and healthy habits are the best investment you'll ever make. Strategy three, shop around for Medicare supplements during open enrollment. Insurance companies compete for your business, which means you might find better deals. It's like Black Friday, but for healthcare coverage. Strategy four, consider where you want to retire. Healthcare costs vary significantly by location. Florida might have no state income tax, but those hurricane proof windows won't help if your Medicare costs are higher. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Healthcare costs in retirement are significant, and they're not getting smaller. But here's what I want you to remember: knowledge is power, and proper planning can bring financial confidence. You don't have to figure this out alone. Feel free to reach out to me today, and we can start planning now. Remember, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. The same goes for healthcare planning, except with less digging and more paperwork. Thanks for watching. Check out my new website, www.jeffreypanic.com, that has helpful articles and videos to help navigate life's financial twists and turns.